On the first night after my wedding, I heard my new husband whisper something that froze my blood. He said he could not wait to take control of the apartment. The apartment he thought was not mine. The apartment I quietly owned. My name is Hannah. I am 33 years old and I learned the hard way that people treat you very differently based on what they think you have. For 5 years I saved every extra rupee from my job as an accountant. I worked late nights. I skipped vacations. I ate simple food and lived carefully until the day I was able to buy a small comfortable apartment in the city. A place that smelled like peace. A place that finally felt like mine. After a past filled with unstable homes and people who walked away without warning, I promised myself one thing. I would always have my own safe corner in the world. So when I met Andrew and his mother Susan, I decided not to mention that the apartment belonged to me. I told them I rented it. Nothing more. Not because I planned to deceive them, but because I wanted to see who they really were. I wanted a chance to learn their hearts before revealing what I worked so hard for. In the beginning, Andrew seemed perfect. He was attentive. Soft-spoken. He opened doors for me. He remembered the little details that most people forget. He said he loved independent women and he admired how hard I worked. His mother Susan was polite at first. A bit strict. A bit traditional. But she smiled at me and complimented my cooking and acted like she accepted me. Our wedding was small but warm. When I looked at Andrew during the vows, I thought I saw honesty in his eyes. I thought I was entering a loving future. I had no idea that silence would become my only shield. I had no idea that the one thing I chose not to tell them would save me in ways I never imagined. The first red flag appeared the morning after the wedding. Andrew walked into the kitchen and scanned the place like he was evaluating property. He said, "We will change this refrigerator soon. My mother likes double-door ones." I blinked. "We will change it?" "Why?" He shrugged. "It is old. And when she moves in, it needs to look proper." I almost dropped the spoon in my hand. "Moves in?" I asked. He gave me a casual smile. "Of course. She said she will come stay with us for a while. Maybe longer." I felt something sharp inside my chest. He kept talking like it was already decided. No discussion. No question. Just an order given as if I had no say in my own home. I pushed the worry away. I told myself it was stress from the wedding. Maybe I was reading too much into his tone. But the second red flag came that afternoon. I passed by the living room and heard him on the phone. He said, "Yeah bro, the place is decent. Once I get the landlord to shift the contract to my name, we will make changes. After that, everything will run how I want." My heart stopped. Shift the contract to his name. Run everything how he wants. I stepped back quietly before he noticed me. My hands were shaking. My ears felt hot. I had to sit down to breathe again. But the third red flag came like a storm. 3 days later, his mother arrived with 3 large suitcases and walked inside like she already owned the place. She did not wait at the door. She did not ask. She just entered. She looked around and said, "This is nice for now. Once Andrew takes control, we will adjust everything." I swallowed hard. Control of what? She smiled the way someone smiles at a child who knows nothing. "Of the home. My son will handle everything. You can focus on being a good wife." That sentence burned into my skin. She spent the next hour rearranging my living room. Moving my cushions. Checking my kitchen cabinets. Opening my bedroom wardrobe without permission. I said, "Please do not touch my things." She replied, "These things belong to the home. And the home belongs to my son." Something inside me snapped. But I stayed quiet. Because anger without proof is weakness. I needed them to expose themselves fully. That evening I overheard them again. This time both of them were in the kitchen whispering. Susan said, "The landlord will shift the contract next week. Then we will teach her the rules. If she behaves good. If not, we push her out. She has no rights here." Andrew laughed. "Do not worry. She is simple. She will agree." Simple. Agree. No rights. I felt cold all over. My jaw trembled. My heart felt like someone squeezed it. They thought I was helpless. They thought I owned nothing. They thought they could swallow my life whole. That night I sat on the floor of my bedroom and let the truth sink in. They did not love me. They wanted control. Power. A home they could bend to their will. But their biggest mistake was assuming I did not have one. I decided that night that I would not confront them with anger. I would confront them with truth. But I needed the perfect moment. So I acted calm. Silent. Exactly the way they wanted me to be. Andrew began giving more orders. He said, "Move your clothes to the small room. My mother needs space." I answered, "Fine." He said, "Do not invite your friends. They do not need to see the home yet." I nodded. "All right." He said, "Ask the landlord before buying anything. I will take over the decisions soon." I smiled. Sure. Every word he spoke tied a rope around his own neck. Every order he gave exposed who he really was. Then it happened. Susan invited her relatives without asking me. Not a few people. 9 of them. She entered my room while I was changing the bedsheets and said, "We will host dinner tonight. Tell your landlord you need permission for guests." I looked at her. Calm. And said, "No problem." That night the apartment was crowded with her cousins and aunts. They walked around touching everything. Evaluating everything. One aunt said, "Andrew finally has his own home." Good. Susan replied proudly, "Yes. Soon the contract will be in his name. Then we will renovate." Another relative laughed and said, "This is why men should have ownership. Women cannot handle it." I felt heat rise behind my eyes. But I kept my expression soft. Let them speak. Let them reveal everything. After dinner they all gathered in the living room talking loudly about how the home will change once Andrew becomes the official head. Andrew said, "I will remove this old cabinet soon. It does not match my style." I stood up slowly. Everyone went quiet. My voice came out steady. "There is something all of you should know." Andrew frowned. "Hannah? What are you doing?" Susan hissed, "Sit down. Do not create drama." I ignored her. I walked to the drawer. Took out a file. And placed it on the table. I said, "You keep talking about the landlord. So let me introduce you to them." I opened the file. Turned it toward them. And tapped the first page. My name. My signature. My ownership. Andrew froze. Susan dropped her spoon. One aunt whispered, "Wait, this is her home." Andrew stepped forward. "Hannah, why did you hide this?" I looked him in the eye. "I did not hide anything. I just did not share something you did not earn. And thank God I didn't." Susan shouted, "You tricked us." "No," I said. "I protected myself. You planned to push me out of my own home." I heard everything. Every word. Their relatives stared at them in disgust. Andrew said, "Hannah, please listen. We can fix this." I stepped back. "No. You do not fix greed. You do not fix cruelty." Then I pointed at the door. "Both of you will leave my home tonight." Andrew looked shocked. "You are throwing me out? Your husband?" "Husband means protector," I said. "You." Came here to take everything from me. Susan tried to argue. I raised my hand. Leave. They gathered their things in silence. For the first time since my wedding, the apartment felt like it belonged to me again. Within 15 minutes they were gone. I sat on the sofa and breathed deeply. My chest shook. My eyes watered. But for the first time they were tears of strength, not fear. The next morning I called a lawyer and filed for annulment. Andrew tried to contact me for weeks. He sent long messages about misunderstandings and family pressure and how he still loved me. But sometimes love is not love. It is possession dressed in sweet words. Susan never apologized. She only sent one message saying I ruined her son's life. I deleted it without opening it fully. Today I live alone in my apartment. My home. My safe place. The place I fought for by staying silent at the right time. When I look back, I realize something powerful. Sometimes the truth you keep is not a lie. Sometimes silence is protection. And sometimes staying quiet is the only way to hear who people really are. I married him, but the secret I kept protected me from the man who tried to steal my home.